Good evening, I'm Shane Jones. Leading the news at 7. The Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation has a new board with former General Manager Melba Smith as its chairman and former Director of News and Current Affairs Dr. Sharon Marshall as her deputy. The other members are Brian Clark, Peter Boyce, Gillian Leach, Reginald Bourne, and Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Information, Broadcasting and Public Affairs, Cheryl Aline. The Board of Directors has been appointed for a period of 3 years, with effect from yesterday, June 27. Government is moving ahead with plans to purchase second-hand trucks to boost the fleet at the Sanitation Service Authority. Environment Minister Trevor Prescott says a team will be going to Europe soon to look about 15 trucks.
We're going to be sending persons overseas to inspect the second-hand trucks. They're second-hand trucks, and even if you take the risk with new trucks, you understand the challenges that you're likely to face. So persons who are specialized, what we normally call the experts, along with the members of the administration of the ministry, will be going up to one of the European countries. We have options that we're now looking at. We should finish a genuine decision on that by the end of this week, and we'll be on our way.
Mr. Prescott was speaking to the media following the official launch of the board game Waste Busters, along with the unveiling of the new website of the Project Management Coordination Unit at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center yesterday. He says the board game is part of the ministry's education and outreach program. Minister Prescott adds the website www.solid.gov.bb will give the public access to accurate information on all aspects of solid waste management 24 hours a day.
It is through this medium that we will share important information initiatives of the unit with the rest of the world. For this reason, it will be an important tool in disseminating information about the work we are going to do to transform solid waste management and about our engagement initiatives with the stakeholders. Visitors to the site will also find useful tips such as how to start their own composting program to tackle the green waste we produce, as well as contact information for the active waste recyclers of the island.
Government is now better positioned to give youth the skills necessary to compete in the workforce. This as the results of a recent employment survey were presented as part of the Skills for the Future program. Minister of Labor and Social Partnerships Relations, Colin Jordan, says workforce development is a major priority for government. He says young workers must be given the tools to respond to increasing challenges in a changing global environment.
The information we gather will help decision-making in an agency like the Immigration Department, when that department has to consider applications for work permits. It will also support the information, will also support the issuing of CARICOM skills certificates by the Barbados Accreditation Council.
The survey, carried out by Canadian consultancy firm MSRB, collected data from stakeholders in the creative sector, manufacturing, international business, and tourism to find out what skills are necessary. They also examined stakeholder satisfaction with the skills and capabilities of young people leaving the country's secondary and tertiary institutions.
We are putting systems in place to make sure that we have the requisite skills to confront whatever challenges, economic or otherwise, will confront us. There are going to be new recruitment methods to evaluate prospective workers. We have to improve labor market efficiency. All these to make sure that our national objectives of developing our people and our country are met.
Minister of Agriculture and Food Security Indar Weir now has a better appreciation of some of the problems plaguing the Bridgetown Fisheries complex. Yesterday evening, he conducted a comprehensive tour of the facility to get a first-hand look at the issues. Agriculture and Food Security Minister Indar Ware and MP for St. George North Glenn Clark, along with a team from the Ministry of Agriculture, are determined to get to the bottom of problems facing the facility. They embarked on an extensive tour spanning the boatyard, processing hall, jetty, cold storage and ice room, packaging room, boning hall and vendors area. Minister Ware believes some of the issues can be immediately addressed, one of them being the many decrepit boats on the property.
Those are in a place where that space can be used more productively. And so we're going to have to appeal to the owners of those boats to make sure that they can come and take ownership of their property and do what is necessary to either repair them or remove them.
Mr. Ware says he will also be working around the clock to find solutions for the long-term issues.
Things like the jetty, I think that's going to take some midterm planning, because obviously the logistics around the jetty, etc., will have to be worked out. And that's going to take the advice of engineers, and certainly the planning for that we will have to then start to do over a period of time. There are other issues in terms of the ice unit. I am told that the unit has been having problems, and you can't afford to be having problems with that unit, so we will have to find an immediate fix to that.
Minister of Maritime Affairs and the Blue Economy, Kirk Humphrey, joined the tour at the end, and Minister Ware believes a joint effort will see overall conditions improve at the complex.
I see opportunity for us to be able to intervene and fix the things that are there before us. Issues in terms of keeping the stalls clean, making sure that we introduce the legislation that is required to get us up to our phytosanitary goals, and then making sure that we put the packaging unit into proper use so that the overseas shipping of tuna can take place in an environment that is required to be done in. Overall, I would say that there is work to be done, but I would also say that I've been listening to the vendors over here. Most of them appear to be happy, which is a good sign. But the responsibility obviously falls to the government to make sure that the market is providing the conducive environment for people to be able to function in.
Minister Ware is adamant that government must work hand in hand with fisherfolk to ensure high productivity. Achieving food security in the face of climate change remains a challenge for Barbados. But Minister of Agriculture and Food Security Indar Ware believes partners in the agricultural sector must be a part of the solution by adopting climate-smart practices. His comments came as the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation in Agriculture hosted an accountability seminar at the ministry's Graham Hall headquarters.
Climate smart means agriculture that sustainably increases productivity and resilience to environmental pressures while finding ways to reduce its environmental impact by lowering its own greenhouse gas emissions without compromising food security. Given the expected changes in temperature, precipitation, and the influx of pests associated with climate change, the global community is called upon to increase investment in research, development, and technologies to improve the sustainability of food systems everywhere.
Mr. Ware says government recognizes that a thriving and productive agricultural sector is important to national food security and is vital to the island's economic and social development. Meanwhile, ICA's representative to Barbados, Ina Harvey, assured the new minister that organizations' continued commitment and support. She provided some insight into its new medium-term plan to be presented at its executive committee in Costa Rica next month.
The strategic objectives of our new MTP are to increase the contribution of the agri-food sector to economic growth and sustainable development, to contribute to the well-being of all stakeholders, to improve international and regional trade in agricultural products and services, and to increase the resilience of stakeholders and the sustainability of agri-food systems. Our technical assistance programs will focus on the bioeconomy and productive development. Now, what is that? The bioeconomy or bio-based economy is a new model for industry and the economy, which is being adopted across Europe and many other countries.
As CARICOM leaders prepare to meet in Jamaica next month, a government minister says there is a lot to be gained by having a common approach to challenges in the region. Minister in the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Investment, Marcia Cadell, is telling Barbados and the Caribbean that the CARICOM single market and economy is neither over nor complete. Ms. Cadell was the featured speaker at the ongoing 12th Annual General Meeting and Conference of the Caribbean Association of Audit Committee members at the Hilton Hotel. It's being held under the theme Leading Today, Harnessing the Power of Disruption.
The government of Barbados maintains and in fact renews its commitment to making sure that it is relevant for the work that we do, particularly in the area of accountability, transparency, and making sure that we are adaptable to the changing economic environment.
Ms. Cadell also wants to see the education system prepare Barbadians for the future.
Our education systems have to look different, and I'm speaking about both formal and non-formal education. A lot of what people have to learn may not always have space in the formal education environment. And so we have to think very carefully about how we transfer skills and what are the kinds of skills. As I said earlier, everything we do is service.
Childhood obesity is at epidemic proportions in Barbados and the Caribbean, and some medical professionals are warning the levels of the region's children are at risk, as well as the nation's future. Kent Jerson has that story.
The significant danger and far-reaching consequences posed by children being either overweight or obese were highlighted during a media conference by the Healthy Caribbean Coalition. Several medical experts and a representative from corporate Barbados addressed the issue. Putting it in context, they noted that 1 in 3 Caribbean children is either overweight or obese. One of the biggest contributors to the condition, they say, is the consumption of sugar. In fact, one of the panelists noted that Caribbean children consume on average 2 soft drinks or sodas a day, which research has shown doubles their risk of heart disease. According to the medical experts, being overweight or obese also predisposes the children to a number of other non-communicable diseases later in life, such as diabetes and hypertension, to name a few. Stressing the seriousness of the situation was Dr. Kenneth Connell, lecturer in clinical pharmacology at the University of the West Indies Cave Hill campus and president of the Heart and Stroke Foundation of Barbados. He says for children who are overweight or obese, it's their very lives at stake.
And not just death on complications just during childhood, but also in adulthood. When you think about it, and the region is currently having a strong conversation about dollars and cents, these are our productive citizens of the next Caribbean generation, and if they are prematurely dying from the NCDs, then our whole status and productivity as a region is at risk.
Reinforcing the point is consultant in the Department of Pediatrics at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Dr. Anne St. John. She also says a change in eating habits can remedy the situation.
Very small portions, and portions proportionate to the age of the child who cannot eat as much as the adult. For the children who are approaching puberty, prevention strategies have been reinforced strongly. The 5-4-3-2-1, 5 servings fruit, 4 cups of water or flavored water per day, 3 servings of low-fat, non-fat milk, 2 hours or less of screen time or computer use, 1 hour of physical activity. That's simple, 5-4-3-2-1, and it doesn't require any special education.
The Healthy Caribbean Coalition is advocating for change through policy initiatives and awareness driven by stakeholders such as civil society and the private sector. Kent Jerson, CBC News.
Thanks, Kent. Barbados has walked away from the Caribbean National Culinary Team of the Year competition in Miami with several silver awards. Team Barbados returned home yesterday. We'll hear more in this Kishmar St. Just report.
Even though not copying the top prize of Team of the Year, top Barbadian chefs and mixologists came head-to-head with some of the region's best during the annual Taste of the Caribbean Culinary competition in Miami. Barbados bagged 7 silver and 2 bronze medals.
Silver was won in Team of the Year. Silver was won in the bar. Silver was won in Junior Chef of the Year, Chef of the Year, pretty much. It was a tremendous experience. In Barbados, you need to be proud. You got to support the chefs because they did an excellent job. I can't fault them.
Barbados through Chef Rodney Carbin was also judged overall winner in the chocolate category. Team spirit shone bright after Chef Shanice Phoenix was injured. Chef Nicholas Eiffel was sent in as her replacement.
I had no plan, nothing of the sort, but it still went in. I executed well and came out pretty much at the top of the whole beef competition.
Kiara Riley and Daryl Boyce intend to improve on their second place finish in the Junior Chef and Caribbean Chef categories come 2019.
For me, in the arena, I didn't feel like I was in a competition. I felt like I was at training, just training. And this was the one day that chef didn't have to crawl, he didn't have to sit nothing. We just worked because it even got to a point where chef was like, Key, you're running a little bit behind. Can you, chef? Be quiet. We got this. And I executed to the level that he was looking for, so that's the most. I feel like I've won Junior Chef of the Year with a silver medal because knowing that I've executed and put in the training, that's enough for me.
Being the first time in a competition, I've never been in a competition locally or internationally before, so it was my first year in competition in the arena. So it was an awesome experience. It was an eye-opener, and also it was, the fun, the passion, being able to put yourself out there and let people see what you are in the reflection of your dish. It was amazing. So I'm geared up. I'm ready for next year, going for the goals.
It was not only the food, but mixologist Alex Chandler made his presence felt.
I had 3 solid rounds, but I fell down in the mystery basket, so that balanced me out at a silver medal. But it was an experience unlike any other. I have never been in a competition where the nerves were this high. And to see everyone from the Caribbean bringing their best was exciting.
Trinidad and Tobago was named the Caribbean National Culinary Team of the Year. Kishmar Senjis, Cbc News.
Barbadians will have the best opportunity to view the planet Saturn over the next 2 nights. President of the Barbados Astronomical Society, Ricardo Small, says Saturn is now very close to the Earth, only 841 million miles away. He says the Harry Bailey Observatory will open its doors tomorrow night and Saturday night at its usual price, where people will be able to see the best shots of the rings around that planet.
We'll be open from 7 o'clock in the evening on Friday until 11 o'clock, and also on Saturday from 7 to 11. We'll have various telescopes here at the observatory trained on Saturn. The observer will see Saturn's rings, they will see a couple of moons of Saturn, they will see cloud bands on Saturn, and basically the whole gamut of features to be seen on Saturn will be seen in our telescopes.
All is set for the first workup Bashment Soca Queen competition tomorrow night at Pirates Cove. The event, which was set to come off last year, faced a few challenges and had to be shelved. Special project advisor for the competition, Terry Bino, says the winner, which will be chosen by the crowd, will walk away with a $2,000 cash prize.
You can't go a Bashment competition and do not have a workup competition because workup is part of a culture. So I think that it will go hand in hand, work hand in hand together. And I think that the Bajan public love the competition because you heard on the street, everybody just ready for this competition this Friday night.
All right. Who's been invited to participate in contestants?
Well, actually, anybody is free to enter. And these competitions that you're going to get somebody to vote for and other boys for text lines, like you're going to fill out an application, that is so. For anything the MC just mentioned the competition on, you just walk up on the stage and enter the competition.
The St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association says it condemns in the strongest of terms the position taken by the government to cancel the association's scheduled sit-down with the Prime Minister that was slated for Friday, June 22nd. The meeting was cancelled a mere 20 minutes before it was scheduled to begin. We get more in this report from HTS News Force.
The association's president, Dr. Alphonsus St. Rose, told reporters that, quote, "the disrespect ends now," end quote. He promised a comprehensive statement that would put the entire situation in context, and on Wednesday, June 27th, the SLMDA issued its release. It says that the past 18 months have been littered with frustrating meetings with Ministry of Health officials. It adds that the association's executive tried to obtain a clearly documented policy position and direction from the administration on the way forward for the ailing healthcare system, but this was met with an unwillingness to honestly engage and share pertinent information. The letter points to the discontinuation of works on the new St. Jude Hospital at Auger, coupled with delays and mixed messages regarding the transitioning from Victoria Hospital to the OKEU. It says the major stakeholders and the public have not been fully and openly consulted, and public statements made by officials of the government about privatizing the OKEU and condemning the St. Jude Hospital reconstruction project in favor of a brand new hospital have not been satisfactorily explained or thought through in a transparent and accountable manner.
Former Guyana Member of Parliament Abdul Kadir is dead. Kadir was sentenced to life on a conviction of conspiring to commit a terrorist attack at New York's JFK airport nearly a decade ago. He died in a prison in the United States today. It's reported that he fell ill early Thursday and was taken to the prison's medical facility where he died. Kadir was convicted and sentenced in the United States in 2010, along with 3 other elderly men for plotting to blow up gas pipelines at the JFK airport. Sports news is up next, but before we get there, here's a tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General Insurance Company Limited. Insurance the way you want it to be.
Whether your asthma is mild, moderate, or severe, it needs to be taken seriously. Death from asthma can occur, but it is rare. This tip is brought to you in association with the Asthma Association of Barbados.